The desert was a graveyard of silence. The wind carried whispers of dust over broken stone walls, and the sun bled into the horizon with a stubborn orange glow. Somewhere, hidden among ruins that once belonged to nameless villagers, a sniper waited. She had no rank, no name, at least none that anyone in the unit could identify, yet when she squeezed the trigger, people listened. The mission was simple on paper: extract a kidnapped American journalist from a compound buried deep inside hostile territory. Intelligence suggested the building was fortified, its guards well-trained, and the escape routes mined with improvised explosives. The SEAL team tasked with the rescue had rehearsed the operation down to the last detail, but even the most meticulous plans bend under the weight of chaos. That was why mission snipers had been born, an unspoken, unofficial program whispered about in special operations circles. When the odds tipped too far against the operators, when precision meant the difference between life and body bags, command sometimes deployed an external asset. Not a soldier of record, not a mercenary, but something or some in between. This time, the asset was a woman. The SEAL commander, a broad-shouldered man with streaks of gray in his close-cropped hair, studied the final satellite images before dawn. His team crouched in silence around him, checking gear and loading magazines. "Intel says they've got Overwatch on every rooftop," he said. 50-calorie nests here and here. He tapped the map with his pen. "That's going to cut us down before we breach the compound." One of the younger SEALs, nerves wrapped in sarcasm, muttered, "Unless we've got an angel watching." The commander didn't smile. "We do." The tent shifted. Men glanced at each other. They'd heard rumors, of course. The woman with no call sign, the one who never wore a patch, the one who showed up where she was needed and disappeared before anyone caught her face in daylight. "She's already in position," the commander said simply. No questions followed. The mission began under a crescent moon. The SEALs advanced in shadows, their boots whispering against the sand. The compound rose ahead like a black fortress, its walls jagged and armed with eyes. From her vantage point, 2 kilometers away, the sniper adjusted her scope. The night was alive with heat signatures, men with rifles pacing, others smoking, some nodding off against parapets. She could smell dust through her scarf, could feel the weight of silence pressing against her. Her finger curled. One guard collapsed before his cigarette hit the ground. His partner didn't even notice until the second round kissed him silent. The path was clear. In the distance, the commander whispered into comms, "Move." The SEALs slid forward. None looked back. The breach went smooth, too smooth. The journalist was found quicker than expected, tied but alive, in a side chamber with a cracked lip and swollen eyes. Relief swept through the squad like a current. Then the alarms wailed. Gunfire cracked from rooftops, tracers slicing the night. The SEALs hit the dirt, returning fire, but they were pinned. 2.50 cows lit up the sand like miniature suns. The commander barked, "Sniper, we're blind." A pause, then a whisper of thunder. One nest went dark. Another pause, another breath. The second nest silenced. The commander swore under his breath, and not at fear, but at awe. Whoever she wasn't human in the usual sense. Her shots weren't just accurate, they were impossible. Crosswind, range, darkness, none of it mattered. The SEALs regrouped, carrying the journalist out through the hole they'd entered. But the compound wasn't finished. Fighters swarmed, angry hornets with axe and RPGs. The squad was outnumbered 20-1. That was when the real killing began. Every time an RPG launcher was shouldered, it was as if the sniper could read minds. The man fell before he fired. Every time a squad of militants flanked the SEALs, one dropped, then another, until the survivors broke and ran. The men in the SEAL team didn't cheer, didn't shout, they just moved faster, hearts hammering, trusting that death walked somewhere above them on invisible legs. The journalist, stumbling between 2 operators, croaked, "Whoa, broken bar, who's covering us?" "Don't ask," one of them growled. Still, she saw it in their faces. Hardened warriors who'd fought on every continent, men who trusted only their brothers in arms, were moving with the confidence of children protected by a mother they could not see. And somewhere in the sand dunes, the woman with no rank watched them through her scope, calm as winter water. By the time the SEALs reached the extraction zone, The night was torn with smoke and fire. The bird was already inbound, rotors chopping air into thunder. The commander gave the all-clear. "We're home." But he wasn't looking at the helicopter. He was scanning the dunes, eyes narrowing, searching for the silhouette he knew wouldn't appear. He wanted to see her, this ghost who had turned a suicide mission into a flawless extraction. Then, just for a heartbeat, he did. She stood on the ridge, rifle slung over her shoulder, scarf whipping in the desert wind. Her face was hidden by shadows, but her stance was unmistakable. Calm, resolute. The commander snapped his hand to his brow, a crisp salute cutting through the dust. No name, no rank, no acknowledgement that she even existed. But the salute was real, and though she never moved, never returned it, the gesture hung between them like a secret vow. Back at base, the SEALs cleaned weapons in silence. No one asked about the sniper. No one spoke of the impossible shots that had carried them home. The journalist, now in medical care, tried to describe her rescuer in interviews later. "There was a woman," she insisted. "I didn't see her, but I felt her." Like she was always a step ahead of the danger. The officials denied everything. All operations were carried out solely by U.S. Navy SEALs. The statement read, "The men who had been there said nothing." Only the commander kept the memory alive, polishing his weapon alone at night, replaying the image of a shadowed figure against the dunes. A salute given not to a subordinate, not to a soldier, but to something rarer, a guardian, a myth made flesh. Months later, the whispers spread again. A team in the mountains swore they'd been saved by a single unseen sniper. A convoy in Africa spoke of enemy trucks exploding before they fired a shot. Each story grew more tangled, more legendary. Some said she was ex-military, a ghost from a disavowed program. Others claimed she lost her family to war and hunted those who preyed on the innocent. A few swore she didn't exist at all, that she was just a morale trick, a myth given shape by desperate soldiers. But the SEAL commander knew, because when he closed his eyes, he could still feel the weight of that salute, the rarest honor he'd ever given, to someone who would never wear it on her chest. And somewhere out there, in the desert, the mountains, the jungle, wherever missions demanded the impossible, she waited with her rifle, watching, guarding. No name, no rank, just the most dangerous secret on earth.